The goal in this video is to create a 21st century worldview that enables us to become a majestic species. So why majestic and why now? Well, as early as 70,000 years ago, our species was in the middle of the food chain, and because of that, we were naturally insecure and anxious. But then in those few short evolutionary years, we ascended to the top of the food chain, but we still had the baggage of an insecure and anxious species, which made us dangerous and cruel. This is an uh-oh, as we have now developed technologies that empower us with capabilities that can wreak havoc on the universe and even havoc on our own species. So let's look at a possible strategy for becoming majestic. I see four major components: uncoupling our needs and getting away from a one-size-fits-all approach, adding care factors to all of our solution algorithms. Number three is partnering with our technologies as we need help to navigate a complex worldview. And number four is harmonizing the solutions like a symphony of components, each having more or less prominence depending on the need. Now, when we talk about uncoupling, we're talking about uncoupling our emotional needs from our physical needs. And if we use the Maslow categories, the physical needs include the physiological and safety needs. Currently, these needs are the focus of almost all of our technologies which are being developed to address all of our basic goods and services requirements. This effort has reduced our dependency on the physical needs, so they have become less important to what matters. Unfortunately, all of our institutions, as well as our jobs and our work, are still focused on the physical needs and not on what now matters to our dignity and individuality. We should applaud this uncoupling of work from income as an exciting development. However, as the astute Congresswoman AOC has noted, the reason we are not excited about this is because we don't have a safety net system, not because there are no jobs. Our jobs no longer represent what matters. So the secret sauce in the uncoupling is the refocus on the emotional needs. Our emotional needs are more closely associated with what matters. As the poet Walt Whitman has suggested, what matters is our ability to contribute a verse or have a voice in the ongoing universe. Having a voice is what matters. Unfortunately, as Virginia Woolf notes, there are many of us that have no voice, and without a voice, we have no verse and no country. So in the 21st century, this is changing. When we look at the concept of voice, we see that the old paradigm of only male voice with male principles like dominion, free will, competition, and justice dominate the discussion and are changing to a situation where everybody can talk, including voices for the planet and the other species we share the planet with, where the topics are decided by everyone, and even whether any concept should be considered sacrosanct is decided by everyone. This shift in worldview, which emphasizes interdependence, has shifted all of our disciplines to consider different ideas of what matters. This significant shift has far-reaching ramifications as our voice is woven throughout all of the narratives, including in our artifacts, our myths, and our institutions. So new narratives will actually change everything. So the suggestion is that our dignity and individuality can be preserved if we uncouple the needs. Now, how might we be able to do this? Well, let's start with Carol Gilligan's definition of an ethics of nonviolence based on care. The factors associated with care, as demonstrated before, include concern for the planet, concern for the other species, our own species, and all of us having a future. The challenge is that currently our institution uses algorithms focused on cost, performance, and efficiency, which Habermas has noted lack any human resonance. So what is needed is to add care to the algorithms. And when you add care to the algorithms, it carries with it a new version of justice and equality. Other issues that have arisen with 21st century cognitive research include a challenge to our decision processes, that we cannot be manipulated. And this has proven to be false. Let's look at some of this research. The general idea was that the knowledge that we use to make decisions was filter from raw data and information narratives into decision knowledge. However, we found that there are many obstacles to the movement from step to step represented by those filters, including but not limited to over 100 biases and fallacies, advantaging intuition and emotional criteria over rational criteria. We align ourselves with many different false decision strategies, and even our general understanding of what is our knowledge versus group knowledge. Finally, as a species, we are prone to many distractions that distort our knowledge. So what we've learned is that our information and knowledge are both suspect. And the basic thing that we learned here is that we, as a species, we need help. Our partnership solution model is modeled after the Seldonian artificial intelligence model out of the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. What we have changed is that the researchers are replaced by teams that leverage our decision tools to assist in the design of the interface and algorithms, as well as include the care factors into the algorithms. We replace the users with teams that leverage the tools to define undesirable behaviors and teams that scrub and reduce the biases out of big data used by the algorithms. This will help reduce the challenges we face with the complexity of the raw data, and we will reduce the challenges in information and knowledge steps. Again, our focus is to improve the rationality of our decisions by reducing biases, distractions, and other challenges. Now, what trend factors need to be considered by these teams? And let's look at two major or main considerations. The first is need to include the issues associated with processes, including the need for ongoing iterations. This gets involved with the undesirable behavior. Right? Next is a need to consider the ramifications of dealing with complexity, including things like adaptive inputs, multi-dimensional data and algorithms, multivariables, and changes directed by addressing a spectrum of possibilities. Then we have to look at outcomes that behave unpredictable with possible emergent characteristics. Both of these considerations will have significant ramifications for the resulting artifacts, myths, and institutions that we need. Our last strategy focuses on the need to harmonize the solutions, as we recognize that one solution type will not fit all of the complex dimensions that we have identified. Like a symphony, we will have to mix and match all the appropriate pieces to the design solution and welcome the changes that will come over time. This will necessitate different solutions for our institutions, our sciences, our planet, our species, and things like even our safety nets. A hidden goal of our strategy is to reduce the ability of the elites to toss the people overboard by reducing any dependency on elites at all in the whole process. Thank you for listening.